Hello, hello. Quick mic check. Let's see how this sounds. Let's try that one more time. Mic check. Hey, Heather. Welcome. Uh, Glad you're here. One second. Let me just boost this a teeny bit. All right, there we go. Now I can hear myself on both streams. Awesome. How you been, Heather? It's been a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna do some cat paintings today. We'll see if I can I can manage more than one. We'll see. They're supposed to be quick little paintings, so, hopefully. As always, if you hear music playing, let me know, because that would be a bad thing. Okay. And obviously, these flowers are from my last stream. So this is what I painted last stream. I just need to put these, oh, hello. I just need to put them away to dry. Let me make space for them real quick. Mm. You've been okay, busy school semester? Understandable. I hope things are going well. Alrighty. I like to leave my the last paintings I was working on up until I start painting the new ones. That way, at least there's something to look at while I'm like finishing up if there's anything I need to get ready, you know. Jeez. All right. Gonna have to do something about that. So my medium is starting to skin over. I need to clean that or do something to it. Yeah, look at that. It's got like a skin forming on it. Gross. That's gross. It's um it's not a medium I use usually very often. And once I'm done with it, I probably won't never buy it again. But I will try other mediums. But yeah, while I have it, I will use it, you know? I don't like to waste if I can help it. Heather says, so far so good. Just 3 of 4 classes are studio classes. Nice. All right, let's get the brushes out. Should have done this before, but got sidetracked. All right, probably won't need all my brushes right away, so I'll just get what I think I'll need. What kind of stuff are you doing in the studio classes? Figure drawing, stuff like that? Now, I need to take the paintings off and need to be careful because there we go. I'm going to slide it out. That'll work better. I was worried that I accidentally dropped the painting. These paintings are all in plastic, so even if I accidentally got a little bit of paint on them, it's not going to be an issue. Let's see if I can put both of these up here at the same time. I'm not sure I can, but I want to see if I can safely do this. Uh, yeah, I don't think that's very secure. Oh, well. No, I got you. Dresden, I got you. Oh, baby boy. Why are you trying to run from me so much today? You're so squirmy today. Aw. Do you already want dinner? It's not that close to dinner. Well, I guess like an hour from now. That's quite a way. Okay, you can go. Sorry, you're not going to stay. Everyone's going to miss you. There says I have a digital photography, cartooning, and comic art. Uh, a third art class where you use different materials for each project. We just finished a cardboard sculpture. Now we're working on a wire one. Ah, a lot. Cool. I'm gonna adjust this real quick. Sorry if it messes up the framing on stream. I'll fix that. It did. But let me fix that real quick. Sorry about that. Let's see. That is almost good. Uh, all right, I think that's okay. That looks pretty good. Good enough. Yeah, Dresden is being a bit of a, I don't know what's going on. I think he's just hungry. I think he just wants dinner, even though, like I said, it's like an hour from now, dinner. But cats don't have a good sense of time. So, anyways, all right, let's start with the cats already, right? I know I'm taking forever. Let's get a little more sol in this. I usually don't use medium, or solvents, but today, because I'm using Galkid, I'm using a little bit of solvents. Just a little. Which reminds me, let me turn on my fan. Normally, I don't use solvents, so I really don't have to worry about ventilation. And I have decent ventilation in here, but want to be extra careful, especially with the cats. All right. started with the wrong color and I'd mixed so much of it, I decided to just put some of it down, but I was intending to actually start with the background a little bit. So the idea with this painting is yes, I am painting a cat. And yes, the model or the reference photo is Dresden. However, I'm not looking, I'm not intending to make it look like a painting specifically of Dresden. I'm just using him as like the archetype of a orange cat. And because of that, I don't have to be super locked in to make all the, you know, all the patterns 100% accurate. Honestly, in this pose, not going to see a ton of patterns anyways, and you'll see, you'll understand why in a minute. I'm just locking in some my background just to cover cover it. And then I'll get into painting Dresden a little more. And this painting, and much like the flower paintings I just did, are meant to be more like painted sketches, I guess, not like super involved and detailed paintings. Because I'm trying to get these done before a what is the word I'm looking for? Art fair. That's it. So just trying to get these done quickly. Might have to take a break at some point and clean up my palette because, geez, it's a bit of a mess. I'm not the most organized with my palette, but usually it's relatively, I don't want to say clean, but it's not a horrible mess. The big thing is that even when it is a bit of a mess, most of the stuff on it is pretty pliable. The moment a lot of it's dry because of the Galkid. I didn't think about that. So because of that, mostly unusable, which is not good. Don't think I'm going to use the brayer today. Feel like it might just end up making everything take longer. I don't know. I do like the effects I can get with it. Don't know that I need it for this painting this time. I think I made his head too small. Maybe not. It'd just be a what's it called? Optical illusion that's happening. I have a little bit of CAD red left on my palette, so I'm using it. Um, Although I don't really need it, but rather use it than, let it go to waste. I did need it for the paintings of the flowers, so that's why it's there. I could not hit the red, and as it was, I still struggled with some colors. The the brightness of those flowers are just um, very difficult to reach. You really need paint out of the tube that is capable of matching it. pretty much how you need to do it if you want to be true as you can to the colors, of course. If you don't have those colors, you can just adjust everything and still make them, still make it look good. It's just you can't technically match the color. But that's a very common problem to have in oil paints. Most of the time, you can't actually match colors for very bright things, I should say. For not so bright things, absolutely. Hey, Des, welcome. I realized earlier today that I forgot to write a bio for you. Then I went to write it and got sidetracked by like a million other things and forgot to do it again. Des says, "Do you know how much I hate acrylics right now?" I do not, but you're welcome to tell me about it. It doesn't entirely surprise me in general. Um, I don't paint with acrylics because I don't like them. I've done it before. I used to paint with acrylics. And if you paint in a certain way, they're fine, you know. I still don't like painting like that, but they're fine. That's how you like to paint. I'm not using acrylics right now, but I am using Galkid, which is reminding me a bit of acrylics. It's not the same, but a little bit reminding me of it. I knew I was muted, by the way. I was talking to Michelle, not on stream. So the black or very dark stuff that I'm putting in right now is um, like in between the fur. Um, you know how the fur like splits and you see, you know, the in between kind of thing. That's what I'm going for. It doesn't look like this. I will be feathering over it to give it more fur, you know, look. But to start with, I'm laying the foundation for it because it's easier to paint over it than it is to paint like in between. You know, for the most part, obviously, sometimes going in and painting like in between, you know, actually does work. Just, but overall, yeah. Des, are you writing an essay about how much you hate acrylics? Are you gonna make a blog post about it? Trying to paint and get this thing done. Ah, okay. Well, if you're in the middle of painting, then by all means continue. I, you can always catch us up later. Good luck. I hope it goes well. In case anyone's curious, like in case you can't see it yet, and that's totally understandable. If you're like, where's the cat? Like I know this is the cat, but where is the cat? Um, that's his little face right there. He's doing his best roly poly impersonation. It says it won't blend. I'm having to use it like watercolors at times. Yeah, yeah, you gotta layer it a lot and like glaze with it. That's why I said like when I learned to paint with it, I learned uh basically like how to glaze with it. That's all well, not all we did, but what we would do is um we would lay down a like a grisaille layer, like a dead layer, but it wasn't very smooth. It was just like a black and white kind of layer. Although it wasn't, I remember correctly, it wasn't 100% black and white. I think there was some like flesh tone a little bit. I don't remember, like a orangey color to it. And then uh, you would like put down white um, for the like um, not rim lights, form um, the form lights and stuff, and then you would glaze and then, you know, glaze again and then put the whites back in again and again, something like that. I don't remember the exact process. Um, I I just remember like I'd put down a layer and then I'd blast it with the what's it called? With a hair dryer to try and get it to dry faster so I could glaze another layer real quick. That's why I never understood why people suggest oil paint for glazing. I'm like, no, acrylics for glazing, oil paint for direct painting. Why on earth would you want to do it the reverse? But maybe they know something I don't, because that's just my opinion. Heather says, "Hey Leah, did you know today is our 18th Facebook friend anniversary?" I did not know that. I'm also like 90% sure we knew each other before Facebook, so that's crazy. Yeah, I don't go on Facebook as much as I should. I don't go on social media as much as I should, honestly. But happy friend anniversary, Heather. Oh, we totally did meet before we were Facebook friends? Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I know we absolutely did, but I didn't think like the first thing we did was then connect on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like I know we I know we first met at the comic shop, but um even after that, I'm pretty sure our first thing wasn't to run and connect on Facebook. Uh, but yeah, uh, it's been a while. I do sometimes like those features on Facebook are nice sometimes where it's like, hey, you have, an anniversary, or this happened like a couple years ago or whatever. Those can be nice, but sometimes those things fail spectacularly at the same time, and I hate that. I I'm stuck with you, Heather. Yeah, no problem. No problem there. Yeah, anyone who's had, not to get too much into it, but anyone who's had any kind of tragedy in their life and they've posted about it on Facebook, you know, it sucks when it's like, oh yeah, here's an anniversary of this thing, and you're like, thanks Facebook. I did not want a reminder of that. Thank you very much. Facebook isn't the only one that does that too. Uh, Google Photos will do that as well. They'll like, oh, you took this photo like 3 years ago, it's like, oh, thanks. Thanks for reminding me of when I was injured in a car accident. Appreciate it. I mean, I guess, worse things, but yeah. I feel like they need to figure out a better filter to put on those things. All right. So this is his little face right here. That's his ear. That's one paw. That's another paw. He's really tucked away in there. Why do I have this at minus? Oh, that's weird. Heather says I get so many Facebook memories with Steve. Sometimes it's a little hard. Yeah, exactly. Michelle gets it with her mom, and like I said, anybody who's had a tragedy of any kind, and or I guess even if you didn't post about it, but it's someone who you were connected with or did post about, like it's really just anything, anybody, and it's like, come on, you guys need to figure out a better filter for this. But yeah, it can be hard. Anyways, sorry to bring everything down, but it is nice though. I also get the fun ones where I get a thing and it's like, hey, remember this time you went to dinner or you had a birthday party with, with these people? And it's like, oh, these are my friends who I haven't talked to in a while. It's nice to remember those moments for sure. And like this 18th anniversary to our Facebook friendship. That's nice. I like that. It says, yeah, I couldn't bring myself to close my husband's Facebook account when he died. So I got notifications from that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. I'm debating if I want to refine this more right now or if I want to try jumping straight to the next painting and then coming back to this. I think I'll keep refining it because if I don't, I think it might start to dry too much. So I am going to put it into Photoshop real quick just so I can make sure I'm getting the proportions right. It's a weird angle, weird everything, and I feel like it'll be quicker to do that. Hmm. All right. Heather says I didn't close Steve's either. Yeah, a lot of people do that. They'll keep it open. Some people also won't they'll keep their person's phone or phone number up, stuff like that too. It's it's hard. Um yeah. It's very strange. I live very far from a lot of the people who I care about. A lot of the people I care about are either on the other side of the country somewhere or in another country entirely and so on. And I've lost people, and it's a very strange feeling when they're not people who are in your life on the daily because it's a very strange sensation because nothing changes. Um, in a way, you know. Obviously, something has changed, but the feeling of it or the experience of it is very surreal because of it. Uh, but, it is just the way it is sometimes. Alrighty. Oh, nice. Well, I was really close with a lot of it, but not everything. Some of it I'm okay with because so the thing with fur, when you're painting fur, um, because of the feathery edges, I'm usually okay with painting whatever's behind the fur further in, and then, painting out the fur on top because you're using a brush and it feathers naturally and so on. So, for instance, if his fur ends up, out here, I don't mind painting further in. But I did mess up a little here, and this paw location is a little off. The rest of it's a little off here and there too, but very minor. Very minor. Right. Since I did paint with what's it called orange, you know, the last thing I painted was with orange. I'm going to continue with the fur, and then I'll do the background in a minute. I'm so envious of the artists who are able to have like multiple brushes of different colors and different things where they're like, they're so organized that they can, they'll have like, oh, I'm using this brush for my darks and this brush for my lights. And this brush is for, my what's it called? My blue color and this one's for my, my warms or whatever. And to be clear, it's not like they have one designated for that all the time. It's just during a painting session, whichever one they use for those things, they'll kind of, you know, designate for that, keep it separate so that all the colors stay clean and everything. Um, yeah, I've tried that, and what ends up happening is they all end up being just the same, and so everything ends up being just the same. So they just end up all averaging out most of the time, which is not helpful at all. I'm pretty sure it's a better way to paint that way, like it's a more organized, way of doing things. I just am not able to pull it off. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm wondering if one day I'll end up using one of those, hand palettes that, you know, the artist, palettes that they hold. Um, yeah, I've never been, I don't know, those never felt good to me, but maybe one day I will. I don't know. I can see it being useful for very large paintings. However, I feel like I still want the light to be the same on my painting and on that, and I feel like they won't be if I'm constantly moving around. So I don't know. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I think when I start working on like really large paintings, I think I'm going to make a palette that um, that sits on like a tripod, on the head of a tripod, you know, and just basically transfer this palette that I'm currently using and mount it on the head of a tripod, so I can move it wherever I need it, kind of thing. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing because those, artist palettes that you have hold, I don't know. I don't know if that'll work for me because also like I need to use, I need to clean the brush. You can't do this if you're holding the thing. That says organized. What's that? Yeah, I know. Well, there I've said this before, but there's this artist who I like. She's really a sweet person, really nice, and um it was very nice meeting her at the Portrait Society, um, and getting to know her a couple of years ago. Um, Not even the last time I went, but yeah, um, she the way she teaches is when she paints, she puts what's it called? She pre-mixes all of her paint. And it's not that she only uses what she pre-mixes, of course, but she does pre-mix everything first. She does like a whole row of of paints and of colors, mixes them all out. And I cannot. And one of the things she teaches is she's like, or she, yeah, I guess this is how she teaches. She tells people, that, the painting starts on the palette essentially, right? Like if you mess this part up or you don't do this, then your painting is not going to come out good. And she is right, technically speaking. If that's how you paint, then yes, then she's right. She's incorrect in the sense that there are people who don't paint like that and they have no problems with it. But yeah, oof, I could not do that. That's too organized. I I did when I first got into oil painting though, I did pre-mix um a few of my colors. I would do some basic pre-mixing and that really helped me early on. So I will say that that did help me a lot early on, but not to that degree. And Everything is gumming up on me. Galkid, they're useful and annoying. So I am changing the colors a bit. I'm obviously pushing the fur color into the red a bit more. And then I'm also pushing the blue a bit in the background because orange and red and blue go together. Um, but yeah, the reason I'm pushing the red is because it just reminds me of like a red fox type of thing. And also, I'm trying to make it more um, whimsical, I guess would be the right word for that. Yeah, there's definitely a time zone difference. Does why are you mean for my stream? Is it? I hope that's not why you messaged her. So one of the questions one of the things I need to decide with this painting is how am I going to display it? Obviously, it's not done, but do I display it this way or, do I turn it around? I mean, it's taken from like right above. It doesn't really, doesn't really matter. But yeah. Okay. Um, before I continue, I need to take a quick break. Hopefully it's very quick. We'll see. But I need to take a quick break and feed the animals. It is their dinner time, so it will probably take me like, oh, I don't know, maybe even 10 minutes. Let me go to my BRB and add a text thing to let people know I am um, uh, All right. There we go. Change the color. Yeah, let's just go black with black. I think it'll be easier to read. Okay, there we go. All right. I will be back in a couple minutes. I will on Twitch. I am going to run an ad so that people don't get pre-roll ads. So I will be back. Okay, I am back. All the little critters have been fed. At some point, I might end up just drilling into the ceiling because I hate how much like the tripod moves when I step near it. Because it's all carpet, right? Like that's why. Like if it was hard floor, it wouldn't be moving, but it's carpet, so everything has a little bit of give to it, and it's all attached, so everything kind of moves. Uh, Kodak of Good Life, welcome. How are you doing? I am just just started working on this painting of a cat. Technically my cat, but it's not meant to be, specifically of my cat. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Kodak of Good Life says that's some really nice art. Thank you. I appreciate it. How are you doing today? Are you an artist? If so, what kind of art do you do? Camera, stop. Shit. Gonna put out a little more quinacridone rose, and then I can get back to painting. I had to go feed the cats, so yeah. Took a break for a minute. Alrighty. I'm I'm tempted to thin the canvas just to make it easier. I don't know if it actually make it easier. I'm so used to having the head on top. Like generally when you paint people or animals or anything, the head's on top. And sometimes, they lower it, but it's usually even when people like lower it or if they're at a weird angle, you know, it's usually um leveled to, you know, the top. But this was taken from above, so it's, you know, there's no real top or bottom here. Alrighty. Now let's see how it goes. But yeah, Kodak, if I'm mispronouncing it, if your name's not meant to be Kodak, let me know. Hey, French fries. It's French fries says, "Hey, Liad, it's been a while." Yeah, it has. Welcome. How have you been? In case anyone's confused, I do have two chats running simultaneously. One is in Twitch, one's on YouTube, because I'm multi-streaming. How have you been, French fries? What have you been up to? Doing great. We have more viewers on Twitch. Oh, or on YouTube. Um, I don't know. Codex says, I really like art, but I can't paint or even draw. Hey, it's no problem. First of all, people who are, you know, what's it called? Just fans of art are always welcome here. However, the other thing I always say is that, I always encourage people to make art if they're so inclined. Obviously, if you don't like it, don't do it. But I always encourage people to make art, have fun with it. Don't worry about the like outcome. If you're not, you don't have experience with it and you're not very good, that's fine. Just enjoy making it, You don't have to be a professional or the best in order to make art and enjoy doing it. And I really think that's an important thing because the analogy that I like to give is, okay, I have never met anyone who is like, I really enjoy playing soccer or basketball or something, but I'm never going to be, a pro. So why even bother, right? Like I've never met that person. Everyone who likes doing those things likes to do it for fun, regardless of how good they are. So that's kind of my feeling on it. I feel like people should treat it that way, you know. This says, have you seen some of this art out there? There are many people who can't paint or draw. Have fun. Oh, does yeah, it does absolutely does. I agree. But I'm also like not trying to push people into like doing anything if they're not comfortable with it. But I feel like some people just, you know, get are too hard on themselves around this subject. So that is all. My mom is horrible artist. She's not a good artist, but she I remember I don't know if she still does it, but I remember growing up, she would whenever she was on the phone, and she would be talking to someone for a long conversation or writing notes or something for something, she would always do these like doodles of like eyes. I don't know why she would always do drawings of eyes. They're awful. I'm sorry if my mom ends up listening to this. They weren't good. She's not an artist. She'll never claim to be an artist. They're done in pen, just just sketching. But I do remember them, you know. Like I said, it's not like they're great, but I don't know. It was just something to do, I guess. Do you have a mentor or someone you look up to in the art sector? I mean, I've had mentors in the past, and there's definitely artists I look up to. Yeah, I'm not in school or anything like that right now. Um, there's definitely artists who I look up to in different ways, depending on the artist. But yeah, and of course I have my artistic influences as well. You know, I've taken classes and I've had people, teach me. I don't know that I would I would qualify anyone as exactly a mentor, because of like what I imagine a mentor to be, but it's, maybe a semantic argument more than anything. But yeah, I've taken classes before and I've done, um, done stuff like that. Of course, I have yet to meet an artist who doesn't look up to any artist out there, So yeah. How about you? Do you have any artists you look up to or any favorite artists? we can talk like favorite artists alive and favorite or uh, alive or dead. Because like there's always can always go back to the old masters, of course. Um, you know, some of the artists that I really like, uh, who have also taken classes with are on YouTube. Uh, actually, one of my favorite artists is Nicholas Uribe, and he has a YouTube channel, and Chelsea Lang as well. Um, she has a YouTube channel as well. Actually, that's how I found out about her, was through a YouTube channel. Kodak says, "Well, I think you're my now favorite artist, though." Oh, thank you. That's very sweet of you. By the way, if you followed me or anything or like that, I don't see the notifications. I When I set up the multi-stream, a lot of my notifications and everything broke, and it was just um, too much work and time to get everything arranged, and I have too many screens that I'm like monitoring at the same time. But if you did follow me, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I also have a YouTube channel, and I will get back to posting YouTube videos at some point soon. I'm working on, been a little overwhelmed with work lately, but I'm trying to get some videos banked uh, before I start releasing more videos. But yeah, I have like time lapses and stuff like that. So uh, yeah. And we also have a Discord community if you want to come hang out and talk art. At some point, I'm going to do another Portrait Artist of the Year paint along, which I think is a very fun event to do. So we'll do that at some point. I kind of want to get more people um, to commit to it, and it's just hard to arrange it. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. In case you're not familiar, Portrait Artist of the Year is a program, a British show where they like a reality show where they do uh, painting competition basically. And what we do is we essentially pretend to be on it and just have fun uh, pretending that we're on the show. I play both host and painter, and well, we don't do judges, so there's no need for that. But everything else we do. Yeah, we don't need to judge it because there's no moving forward with that. Maybe one day if we build up the community real big, we can have like you know, a competition for prizes. But nah, I don't think that really is in the spirit of it, honestly, because we're just trying to have fun. Thank you, Des. I appreciate you putting up the link for the Discord. Hi, Dresden. Are you going to run away from me, or are you going to come say hello to everybody? Run away it is. He is hyper. He gets hyper after dinner, so he's like running around like a crazy cat. Dresden. Let's see. Let's see if I can wrangle him over here. Dresden, you're so hyper. Come on, Dresden. I cannot play with you right now. Dresden. Oh, baby boy. I can hold you for a little bit and I can say hi to everybody, but I can't chase you around the house right now. I'm sorry. He is so hyper and so squirmy right now. Meow. He just ate dinner and he's hyper and he wants to run around. Isn't that right, little boy? Oh, oh. Yeah, he's super hyper right now. Kodak says, "How long do you think this piece is going to take?" I don't know. Hopefully, like 4-ish hours. It's supposed to be a quick, kind of a sketch of a painting. It's a small 9 by 9, you know, what's it called? Uh, board, and it's meant to be quicker than normal, looser, quicker, and sketchier, I guess would be the way to. Uh, I have a I have an art fair that I'm going to be. Actually, I have two art fairs I'm going to be at. One is this weekend. It's only for one day on Saturday, and the other one's next weekend, and it's a 3-day event. And I wanted to get some paintings done that are, a little more um, uh, price friendly for people who don't want to spend as much, and also don't want a portrait of someone they don't know hanging in their on their wall. So, I've been trying to get a few paintings out that are a little quicker so I can charge a little less on them and just, have them available for the people who would like that. Uh, it's tough. I've said this before, if I was financially, independently wealthy and I never had to worry about, finances, I'd probably give my art away to the people who, to anyone who wanted it. Um, because, the idea is to share it, right? Like that's ideally the use of it or the point of it, right? But unfortunately, I also have to take in consideration finances. So, and I realize that not everyone can afford, you know, very expensive artwork. I get it. Totally understand. So, trying to find that middle ground, can be tough. Hi, Dresden. You're back now? Do you want me to pet you and hold you so everyone can see you some more, or are you going to run away again? He doesn't know what he wants. He's very hyper. I saw a thing on cats that the person said that you're supposed to like play with your cats before you feed them because it's like, the hunt and then you feed them and that's like the reward for the hunt kind of thing. But Dresden likes to play after he eats. He does it backwards. Kodak says, I have 3 cats. Hey, me too. I have 3 cats and a dog. Dresden is named after Harry Dresden the Wizard from the Dresden Files. And that's this little boy. Yeah, I know, you're all whiny. Oh, we're going with licks now? No? Okay. Kodak says they're mostly active at night. Depends what you, I mean, I don't know your cats. My cats, depends what you mean by night. I'd say evening. Late night, they're not that active. Like, they kind of die down on activity after, like, I'd say, like, around midnight. They stop being all that active. And they're still active, but, not very. They usually go to bed. Oh, he's so cute. I have to be careful with him. For a while, he was afraid of the cat that lives in my monitor. In case you didn't put it together, that's him. He was afraid of himself because he saw himself on camera and thought there was a cat living in my monitor. So then even when he wasn't on screen, he would be afraid of my monitor. Are we biting now? We biting now? Yeah, we're biting now. Ow, your nail, little boy. Your nails are so sharp. Belly. He's gentle. He never scratches hard on purpose or bites hard on purpose. He just bites gently. All right, gotta put you down now. And also going back to what French fries asked earlier, I don't know how many viewers I have because I have too many like too many windows open all the time. Um, so I usually don't even check. Although I'm assuming we have we have more people in chat on YouTube at the moment, technically speaking. Kodak, where are you located in the world? We have people from all over. I am in Austin, Texas, so for me it's like 7:10. So yeah, I just fed the cats. That's why they're all very active now. Ooh, 1 a.m. where you are. So very late. Well, just so you know, I stream on Sundays as well, Wednesdays and Sundays at the moment. And I stream a bit earlier on Sundays. So it might work out a little bit better for you time-wise. Uh, I usually start streaming around 2 or 3 local time. That's too much math for me at the moment, but yeah, whatever that ends up being. Uh, It is very awkward to paint from this angle. I'm still deliberating if I'm gonna spin the canvas around. Uh, do you have a painting of a sunset or nature? I have a few paintings of people in nature, and um, but I don't have a lot of landscapes on their own. I did one landscape a while ago, but I don't have it anymore because it was auctioned off for charity. So I don't have that anymore. Um, I have a couple of I think I still have a couple landscapes I did from when I went plein air painting. Um, yeah, but not a ton of landscapes. Um, Probably should make some, but I haven't. I I enjoy nature a lot. I enjoy, um, you know, um, I do enjoy going out in nature, and I enjoy the views. However, I am uh, not as interested in painting it, and because of that, I am not as good at it. It just doesn't hold my interest usually. I do want to do some more because I do think it's great to practice things, even if it's not like maybe the most interesting thing to you to do. But yeah, I don't have a lot of those. Trying to remember the artist. I've seen a few artists um, who do kind of well. There's a few artists who do different things, but one there's a few artists who do kind of abstract like paintings of just like light and shadows and stuff like that. And I've also seen some other painters who do like just skyscapes and stuff like that. And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day I'll combine the two in some manner. Uh, let's see. Kodak says I gotta go now though, but would like to see the painting when you're done. Oh, absolutely. At some point, I will post it. I will post the paintings online or in my Discord or both at some point, um, or on my website. So yeah, I'll definitely post them when they're done. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a great night, and like I said, I also stream on Sundays, and hope to see you around. And have a good night. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know. An interesting problem I'm running into is that I'm using Galkid to help things dry faster, and boy, are they drying faster. So fast, in fact, that some of the like effects that I normally expect to get from brushwork is actually starting to already, um, you know, bind up on me, which is ridiculously fast. Like, I thought it was going to take a few more hours, but now everything's already starting to bind up. I really should try out my I have a brush. It's a comber brush, so it has like uneven bristles on purpose. I really should try it out. I feel like it would be perfect for fur. What? That's BS. My my earbud is telling me low battery. I charged them. I guess this one, for whatever reason, didn't charge properly. Well, for whatever reason, I know the reason. The little connectors on it don't always connect properly. Very frustrating when that happens. All right, let's do a quick stretch. My back really needs it. Oh, lightheaded. Yeah, in the future, I'm gonna try um, mgrams walnut alkyd medium for quick drying paint. I don't know if it'll feel exactly like alkyd. Maybe it will. But yeah, not a fan of alkyd. Actually, I'm going to adjust some of what I'm doing right now because of the alkyd issue. Now that I think about it. Yep, I'm already running into dry brushing. I started this painting 2 hours ago, less than 2 hours ago. I'm running into dry brushing issues. At least they'll be dry in time, I guess. You know? Okay, I might have to turn the canvas around just so that I can get that the right angle there. Jeez. I guess I could try like this. Yeah, no. All right, leave that part alone for now. I will rotate the canvas because I am left-handed and that isn't working for me. don't usually think about those things, but yeah, it can definitely get in the way. So, one of the things I've talked about many times and will continue to talk about is riding that balance between trying to make the fur look like convincing fur and trying not to get bogged down by all the details of the fur. And really, my goal is to try and handle this in a, you know, artistic way where it looks loose and painterly and all those things, which, is definitely a balancing act. And one that most of the times I, I'll say I pass if that counts, but it's really just like I could push it more. I can almost always can push it more. So we'll see. Maybe I can push it more. Oh, that needs to go away. Oh, well. phthalo blue. Just overpower everything, why don't you? It is very easy to get lost in all of this. I need to be careful and try and hold on to like the larger, shapes and forms, which is one of the biggest challenges in my mind of hair, fur, anything that's like has a ton of texture in it. That is really one of the areas that I find very difficult with stuff like that, which is why I also find like, trees and bushes hard because there's just so much stuff there. Right. Also have to put in his face, but I'm going to need to rotate this. I just can't. There are certain angles I can't, or I can, but it's just uncomfortable, and I get in the way of the monitor, of the not monitor, the camera. It looks good this way too. Let me rotate my reference. There we go. What do you think? Does it look better this way or the other way? Ah, I'm torn. I don't know which one I prefer. I do think I need to kind of unify some of the fur a little bit, but I'll definitely, you know, work on that. I need to make like bigger areas, but first I need to get into more of the details. A little counterintuitive, but um, sometimes it works better that way. trying to feather out the edges a bit because of the fur. Well, it's already drying, so that's actually making it a little difficult, but not impossible. Wow, that is crazy. Absolute insanity. I can't believe that some of this is like, I won't say it's dry to the touch because I'm sure it would come away on my finger if I touched it, but it's essentially like almost dry to the brush. That's just madness. So for anyone who isn't familiar or is like, why am I so, you know, like, why do I think that's madness? Uh, I am using oil paint, and everyone knows oil paints dry very slowly, but I am using a medium to help it dry faster called Galkid. I don't usually use it. It has some solvent in it, and I don't like to use solvents. I have ventilation running, I have a fan running, you know, and I have a very tiny container of it open, not a huge, thing. But yeah, I try to be cautious about it. But usually I think it takes longer than this. I don't know why it's like feels like it's drying so fast today. I don't know what's like, what factors are affecting it this way. But yeah, just crazy. And of course, I want it to dry faster. That's the purpose of using the medium. So you'd think I'd be happy with it. And in a way I am, but one of the reasons I like oil paints over acrylics, for instance, is because of how long it takes oils to dry. It's actually a huge advantage that oils have over acrylics. huge advantage in the right circumstances, that is. And the reason I'm using the medium is I have, what's it called? I have two upcoming art fairs, and I want these to be dry by then, hopefully, which I imagine they will be, especially for the second one. All right. I think that's, I mean, it's not perfect for the fur, but I don't know that it ever will be. Well, you know, realistically speaking. All righty. Let's see if I can get more of his face in. And then his paws and his the beans that you do see. All right, I messed this part up a little, so let's correct that. When you're pinning wood into what and you're like feathering over something, sometimes you absolutely cannot do more than a single, stroke before wiping off your brush because they'll just collect whatever you put down beforehand and, you know, you can't like keep going. Sometimes you can, and sometimes that actually works in your favor. Sometimes you can go back and forth in a way that actually you know, works to your advantage, but yeah, sometimes you cannot. Okay, Des, you're done for tonight with your painting? How'd it go? Hey, Donley, welcome. How are you doing tonight? Donley says, I love seeing a painter and initially not knowing what the hell it is, then stare for a moment and the image emerges. This is looking cool. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I think everyone who is around right now knows you, but for anyone who doesn't, Don Leo is a streamer on Twitch. He does digital artwork and sometimes some gaming and design work and stuff like that. So check him out. Donley says, "Is this Dresden?" Yes, it is technically Dresden. Although I've pumped up the colors a bit. He's not this fiery red, really. But yes, it is Dresden. My goal was to do kind of a relatively quick sketch kind of oil painting, and you know, um, as for these what's it called, for these art fairs that I'm going to be at, so that I have something a little more um, price friendly for some people. Only says great idea. Yeah. How'd your painting go, Des? I also figure like this isn't what I would consider like a pet portrait. Obviously, it's a painting of a pet, but I wouldn't consider this like a pet portrait um, as much of a like a painting of a cat, you know. So hopefully that is also more interesting to like some people because some people don't want portraits of people they don't know, and I assume that also means cats they don't know. But honestly, I don't know because I don't know how people think sometimes, you know. I'm sure I'm not the only one who finds how people think sometimes a little on the confusing side. So, Don Lee, how is your death door run going? Indeed, the enigma of peoples. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Donley, you can drop a link to your channel if you'd like, but like I said, I'm pretty sure it's just everyone knows you in Twitch. No, I didn't. I did not see your response about Death's Door. That's strange. We'll copy paste it again, just like, sure. Original message. I hope to play more Death's Door on stream soon since the remote play app is working again. Nice. I'm glad it's working again. I don't have a lot of time to play anything right now, so um but I really want to play a Silk Song, but to so that I don't actually waste all my time playing it, I'm just replaying Hollow Knight at the moment because I've played it before, so I don't get like super caught up into it, so I can just take a short break, play it, and then go back to what I need to do, you know. Okay, I went through that. Yes, it went through that time, Donley. I need to do some cleaning, so you'll be lurking. Love how your painting is coming along. Oh, thank you. Uh, okay, Des has got our tea and is sitting back down now. All right. Des says my painting is called Pretty in Pink. Nice. That one went way too far. I'll have to pull that back. Does your painting have any connection to the movie Does? Or it's just the naming? No, but it does have a collection of pretty women, but I don't want to call it that because the character was a prostitute, and I certainly don't want to imply anything. I see what you're saying. That makes sense. Yeah, naming paintings can be real difficult sometimes. I struggle with that. All right. Well, I was hoping to actually get to a second cat painting, but because I couldn't put them both on the easel at the same time, I could only work at one at a time. Stone Gaming Studios, looking good. Thank you. I appreciate that. How are you doing today? Or tonight, rather? This is intended to be a quick painting, more like a sketch than a full, you know, uh, I guess full rendered painting. Well, I am rendering it, but supposed to be done quickly, I guess, is the goal. Because I'm trying to get these done for an there's a word for it, art fair that I'm going to be at. I thought it'd be nice to have some paintings that are a little more, uh, economically priced. But I do struggle to limit myself because it's very hard to just leave something, you know, almost done. So we'll see how it goes. Well, it says game studio in your name, so I'm assuming you make video games to some capacity. Are you an artist as well? Independent artist? Independent studio? Question mark. Whose cat am I painting? This is my cat. He's actually asleep right next to me on my chair right now. Um, Although I've pumped up the colors a bit because I wanted it to be a little more. I don't want to say generic because that sounds law to say, but the idea is not to do a portrait of my own cat, but rather to do a painting of a cat. That makes sense. I already did a portrait of him, like a legit portrait of him. So his name is Dresden, named after Harry Dresden, the wizard from the book series, The Dresden Files. He usually will be on stream at some point to some extent. He was earlier this stream, and I'll be. I'll probably bring him out in a few minutes when I'm ending the stream. Uh, but right now he's sleeping on my chair, and I feel like it'd be mean to bug him if I don't have any good reason to. Although payback might be a good reason because he does love to drive us nuts sometimes in the morning. So, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I have 3 cats, but, Dresden shows up on stream the most, but others will as well sometimes. You really like the loose brushwork? Thank you. My goal is to keep it that way. I don't wanna tighten up too much. I'll probably definitely he's definitely tighter in this area, but this is, like, what I'm aiming for? I need to make a little adjustments here and definitely need to finish up this paw, because I need to get the beans in? Do you have a cat? Do you have cats? You like cats? You had a dog, but cats are adorable too. They are. I have a dog as well. I have 3 cats and a dog. Which now that I say it sounds like a lot for one person. I do not live alone. um, yeah, between me and my girlfriend. So just putting that out there. Like I sound like one of those uh, hoarders of pets. You had 6 dogs? That is a lot of dogs. My dad had a farm at one point, and he had God knows how many cats, but they were kind of wild outdoor cats, barn cats or whatever. 6 dogs, though, is a lot. I mean, were they big dogs? I do know people who have, like, you know, they'll have, like, a bunch of dogs, bigger dogs too. I know someone who has, like, I think 4 or 5 German Shepherds. Huh. Alright, I need to give my camera a rest before it overheats. Yeah. Are we hitting? Oh, wow. We're almost hitting the 3 hour mark. Yeah. Some Game Studio says I couldn't get rid of the pups. Yeah, I hear that. We we might end up getting a fourth cat because we have a cat living in our living on our back porch, and she's been there for months now. So we might end up adopting her at some point, um, just because she's there. And when the winter is, oh, it's not quite winter yet, but we can get some freezing temperatures here, and we worry about the outdoor cat. And she's friendly and other things. It's not just we're worried about her. She's also very friendly and so on. But yeah. Hey, Milo, welcome. That porch cat is your cat, bud? That's how it is? Oh, no, definitely the porch cat is our cat, but I don't know if we can bring her into the house. We have to, it's a process. So she is welcome. At this point, things have stabilized. She can stay in the backyard. Bringing her into the house is a little different. Um, it's we have to get her tested because of the other cats, and then we have to see if she'll tolerate being an indoor cat because we don't know how feral she is and how much she'll deal with the other cats. We actually adopted a cat a couple of years ago. We adopted a fourth cat before we had our dog, and he did not get along with some of the other cats, and we could not get him to, you know, we just could not get him to, what's it called? To cohabitate with them. So we eventually returned him to the rescue that we were dealing with. He found a home. We didn't return him to a shelter, but we didn't want to, but we couldn't. He just couldn't. You know, just couldn't get along with our cats. So we had to return him. So we'll see. But either way, she's welcome to stay there. There's nothing we can do about it, really. And here we go. Here's Dresden. He's awake. So let me. Dresden. Aw, baby boy. Say hello. We have new people who do not know you. Okay, lick that paw. Good boy. He's sleepy. I just woke him up. Well, I didn't wake him up, but he woke up. Yeah, I pumped up the colors a bit, though. He's not, I mean, he's orange, but it's more of a like dull orange. He's not like, a tangerine. Yeah, he is so cute. It's your tail, Dresden. Wait, don't want your tail? Okay. You just want to go back and sleep, don't you? This is why I wear gloves too when I paint, because I want to always have clean hands if I need them real quick, in case I need to pick them up, or because he loves to lick my hands. Oh. Heather says he's admiring his portrait. With all due respect, Heather, I'm sorry to say, he is not that bright. Uh, for a while, he was afraid of the cat living in my monitor. He is the cat who he saw living in my monitor because he's on screen right now. And he got scared of the cat living in my monitor, so he was afraid of my monitor for a while. And then he forgot about that. And now he's okay with the monitor until he remembers. Kinda looks like he's about to fall asleep again. Okay, Tristan. Alright, I'll put you down in a minute. Heather says Z, that's Heather's cat, is obsessed with the cat who lives in the closet door mirror. Oh, that's funny. Okay, Tristan. Uh, she sits on the bed and stares at her reflection. Oh, that's pretty funny. Milo says, paint him like you paint one of your French cats. LOL. Yeah, that's funny. Uh, yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, nope, not what I wanted to do. There we go. I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. It's not done yet, but it's coming out pretty good so far. I don't want to make it super, super tight. It is supposed to be a quick sketch painting, you know. Is that oil? Yes, it is oils. Milo. Yep. Uh, it is. But I'm using Gelkid, which is making it dry much faster than it normally does. I It is drying ridiculously fast. Like too fast. But yeah. But I need it to dry fast because it's for a I'm trying to do some paintings, some like sketch paintings for in preparation for these art fairs that I'm going to be at. So I'm trying to get those done. So I need them to get to be dry faster. But yeah, Des says I love it. Oh, thank you, Des. I appreciate that. Yeah, and it needs a little bit more work, but not a ton. You know, it's getting there. It's getting, like I said, it is supposed to be a sketch, so it is kind of it will be messy on purpose. And I do like that look of, you know, brushy and brush strokes and all that. So I'm happy to leave a lot of that in there. But yeah, so we have crossed the 3 hours, and I honestly, let's see. That says I have a cat painting sketched out. I need to start it. Yeah. Donley says, "What is it I'm using to speed up the drawing?" Sorry, I missed it. I'm using Galkid, which is Gamblin's Alkyd uh, medium that speeds up the drying time. The problem is it does have a little bit of solvent in it. So I have a fan running to clear out the fumes. It's very little, and I'm using a very tiny container, as you can see. Like it's very, you know, very little, but yeah. I have to be careful with fumes. There is an alkyd medium that doesn't have fumes. What's it called? But I don't own it, and I don't know what it's like. But I am shocked at how fast everything is drying. Like a lot of this painting, I wouldn't say is touch dry, but it's uh, I call it brush dry now because like you can't brush, you know, into it like it's wet. But I'm sure it would come off on my hands if I touched it. So not touch dry, but brush dry. Um, but yeah, so at least it'll be dry in time, I guess. But I'm actually is so I feel so bad because some people just showed up and I'm just ready to call it a night. I need to take a break, longer than 10 minutes and go eat something and so on. So I'm really sorry to call it a night just as some people show up. But yeah, I'm going to anyways. Sorry. It's okay, LOL. Yeah. Um Milo says it looks great. I love the suggestive brush strokes. Thank you. I'm glad. It's 3:30 a.m. here. Oh wow. Game studios. That's stone. game studios. That's pretty late or early, depending on which uh, which side of it you're at. But yeah. Oh, it's not your fault, guys. It's it's just one of the just timing. But I will be back on Sunday. I will be streaming on Sunday. Um, Sunday will be about. I'll start streaming at 2 or 3 um, Central Time, if that's helpful. I try and get it. Oh, Des, thank you. Yeah. Donley asks, do you know if there are any downsides for the paint when it dries so quickly? It sucks to work with. That's the only main downside I know of. Okay, no. Some of the alkyd mediums uh, have a bit more of a tendency to yellow, I think. Um, that's why you put very little of them. And you're not supposed to use them to uh, oil out or to seal your painting. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Dunley. Dunley says, good seeing you. Nice work. Take care, everyone. Yeah, everyone. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Des, thank you for adding my Discord link. If anyone wants to join my Discord, you're more than welcome to. I do notify everyone in the Discord when I go live. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh, Des says we'd like to share inspiration, share our art, chat about stuff in Discord. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very welcoming place. Everyone's welcome, and you know, if you want to talk art, great place. Hey, Cassandra. Sorry, bad timing. Good night. Good night, everybody.